And so then I'm like, nobody I know knows I'm here. No one I know even knows that I'm friends with this horse. So no one's gonna come look for me.
What's going on? This is not happening. I'm your host. I'm your host, Roy Wood Jr.
You know her from the show Baskets. Martha Kelly is her name.
Is about the ups and downs of friendship, specifically between me and a horse that did not belong to me, but whose pasture I climbed into because I thought it would bring us closer together, and it came close to tearing us apart. So, but just to backtrack, the only thing I knew about horses when I met her is that I thought that they liked carrots and apples. And so I met her because I had moved back to Austin in 2012, and I lived in a part of the city that was almost out in the country, and there were a few places that had horses. And one day when I was walking my dog, this horse came to her fence, and she walked the whole length of her fence along with us. And then when we were on our way back, she did the same thing in the other direction. And she started doing that every day, and I never saw any people in her pasture. So I thought that she probably wanted me to go pet her, because I thought I had heard that horses are like really big dogs, but I honestly believe that when people say that, if someone says that, it's because they were dealing with a big dog that they thought was a horse, because they're not anything like dogs. And I went to pet her, and at first she would kind of back away, and then she finally let me pet her, and there were some early signs that there might be trouble down the road. She did a couple times look like she was going to try to bite my hand, and then one time when I turned my back on her, she grabbed my ponytail and pulled it really hard. But I thought that was like maybe how horses play, and I didn't know. And I forgot to say I'd started bringing her carrots and an apple every day. I would walk my dog and stop and give her. And so I thought that's like, you could easily buy my friendship if you brought me a good snack every day. So I felt, and she seemed to like it. So this is where things kind of go south, but it seemed at first like we were entering a new phase, because I took my dog in for a checkup, and I found out that he had a really fast growing, untreatable type of cancer, and that he probably only had a few weeks to live. And I know that's not a great topic for a comedy show, but but it's relevant to the story. So that I was devastated, because he was my first dog. I totally treated him like a person and loved him like a person. And it's terrible that someone's laughing at that part. That's in poor taste. But so I'm just saying, but it was devastating. And so I got the news, and I took him for a walk, and I stopped to give her carrots and apple. And for the first time, after she ate the snacks, she leaned over the fence and pressed her forehead against my head and just stood there. And I thought like, wow, horses are really sensitive. Like, she could sense that I was really sad. That's what I thought. In retrospect, she might have been trying to, like, psych me out or something. I don't know. I don't know what, but, so then my dog passed away, and then I got another dog who's great, but that's not part of the story. But so a little bit later, I kept visiting her and feeding her and petting her, and then I just one day, this person, I can't. So one day, I don't know what was going on with me, but probably some like reckless daredevil once in a blue moon thing came over me, and I just thought, I bet if, like, she's like a dog, I bet she would like it if I was petting her inside her fence. And, because that's what a dog would want you to stand next to him. And I should also say, this had been a couple of months or more, and I never once did I even just Google horses. It never occurred to me to do that. So this day I just decided I climbed the fence and got in the pasture with her. I thought I would have like a story to tell my friends later, which I did, but it wasn't the kind of story that I thought it was going to be like I was really courageous. But I climbed in with her, she ran away, and then she came back, and then I just walked next to her, petting her, and in a soft voice talking to her, and then she kind of moved in front of me and turned her back legs to me, and then I went, this is what horses maybe do right before they kick somebody. So I stepped out of the way, and then she turned around and reared back on her hind legs and started flailing her hooves at me and whinnying. And I still wanted to think she was playing, but it was kind of terrifying, so I just started going, no, no ma'am, no. and then I ran. And so she chased me behind a tree, and she wouldn't leave. Like, I thought maybe once I got behind the tree and she couldn't get me, she'd give up, following. And then, so at one point I looked over, and then her head popped out on the other side. And so then I'm standing there for maybe like 15 or 20 minutes. I'm like, nobody I know knows I'm here. No one I know even knows that I'm friends with this horse. So no one's gonna come look for me. I've never seen any people come and take care of her. At one point, a car slowed down, and they were looking at me, and instead of flagging them down for help, I thought, I don't want them to know that I'm an idiot who climbed into here. So I just gave him the wave that's, oh, it's okay, we're okay over here. And I found out those were the owners. And I went like that, and they drove away. Like, they didn't, I don't know why, they just saw some weird lady trapped behind a tree with their horse, and, oh, she waved, I guess it's fine, we'll drive. So they drove. So finally I saw this horse go towards the other part of her pasture. So I slowly walk out from behind the tree and start kind of trying not to upset her, walk towards the fence. And then she came back and chased me again, so I ran behind the little structure that she had her hay in. And then that lasted for like another 15 minutes of having to wait for her to get bored. She walked away again. I ran behind another tree closer to the fence. And then that was the last tree that was the closest to the fence, and I thought I could make it. So when she lost interest and walked away, I ran for the fence. And in my mind, in movies, when people take a run at a fence, they jump at the last minute, so they land high on the fence, and then they just throw a leg over and they're done. But I ran at the fence and I tried to jump, but I still landed at the bottom. And then I climbed it as fast as I could, and she was running towards me, and I threw a leg over and it got caught. My jeans got caught, so they ripped. And then I finally got to the other side, and so at first, I really was mad at her, and I felt like I was like, I'm not gonna come visit her anymore. We're like, this is why I never see people in her pastures, because she's not a nice horse. And then later, I realized I have to keep going to visit her because she's a terrible horse, and no one else is ever going to be friends with her. So for the rest of the time I lived there, I kept bringing her food, and I wish there was an ending to the story, but thank you for listening.
Martha Kelly!